The Vanishing of Ellie Summers. College student Ellie Summers vanished from her small town. Before disappearing, she texted friends about a strange car following her. Security cameras last saw her at 11:47 p.m. near a convenience store. She never made it to her apartment, just 3 blocks away. For weeks after her disappearance, Ellie's phone kept sending messages. Police first suspected her boyfriend. Digital evidence later showed the messages came from places he couldn't access. The mystery of Ellie's disappearance remains unsolved. The soft glow of computer screens illuminated Zoe Harper's face. She sat hunched over her desk in the cramped apartment she shared with Ellie. The clock on her monitor blinked 2:37 a.m. Sleep was the furthest thing from her mind. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. Her eyes darted between multiple displays. Zoe delved deeper into the complex digital network of her best friend's last known activities.
Something's not right here. These timestamps don't match up.
Zoe muttered to herself as she scrolled through Ellie's social media feed. Her forehead creased with concentration. A knot formed in her stomach. She noticed something odd about the posting times.
Ellie posted a selfie at the coffee shop. Her text message to me says she's already home. How could this be possible? There seems to be a discrepancy between her online activities and her reported location.
The realization hit Zoe suddenly. It felt like a punch to her gut. She leaned back in her chair. Zoe ran her hands through her messy hair. A memory from 2 weeks ago surfaced. In her imagination, Zoe saw Ellie. Ellie was pacing their small living room. Her expression revealed deep concern. Zoe could picture every detail of Ellie's worried movements in their shared space.
Zoe, I'm telling you something important. Someone has been following me lately. I keep seeing the same car around. I'm certain I saw someone taking pictures of me. This happened outside the library. I'm really worried about this situation.
Zoe remained focused on her laptop screen. She hardly glanced away from her work. Her attention was completely absorbed by a coding project she was working on.
You're being paranoid, Elle. It's probably just someone with a crush. Block them and forget about it.
The memory faded away. Zoe felt a sickening wave of guilt. She clenched her fist tightly. Determination replaced the ache in her chest.
I should have listened. I'm so sorry, Ellie. I promised to find out what happened to you.
Zoe refocused her attention. She cracked her knuckles and turned back to her computer. Opening a terminal window, she began typing commands rapidly. Her eyes glinted with determination and growing unease.
All right, let's see what's really behind these posts. Time to put those forensics classes to use.
Lines of code scrolled across her screen. Zoe's heart raced as she dove into legally questionable territory. The thought of Ellie in danger pushed all other concerns aside. Little did she know, her first steps into this digital investigation were beginning. She was about to unravel a conspiracy far larger than imagined. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead in the Millbrook police station. Zoe Harper approached Detective Marks's desk with her laptop. She clutched it tightly against her chest. Her heart raced with anticipation. Zoe hoped her carefully collected evidence would finally be taken seriously.
Detective Marks, I found something important about Ellie's disappearance. Can I show you?
Miss Harper, we've been over this. We're doing everything we can to find your friend.
But you don't understand. I've uncovered inconsistencies in the security footage. This footage is from the night she vanished. Look at this.
Zoe opened her laptop. Her fingers moved swiftly over the keys. She quickly displayed a series of images on the screen. Detective Marks leaned forward, his brow furrowed as he studied the information before him.
I'm not seeing anything out of the ordinary here. Miss Harper, these are the same recordings. We've already reviewed them.
No, you're not looking closely enough. Take a look at these pixels here. They've been manipulated. Someone has altered this footage.
Zoe, I understand you're worried about your friend. However, we can't chase every shadow. Digital artifacts are common in security footage. These don't necessarily mean anything sinister.
Frustration rose within Zoe. She realized Detective Marks wasn't taking her seriously. Zoe closed her laptop with a snap. Her voice was tight with almost visible anger.
Fine. If you won't listen, I'll find someone who will.
Zoe stormed out of the police station. The cool fall breeze did little to calm her anger. She pulled out her phone quickly. Her fingers moved fast, typing out a message.
Jake, we need to talk about Ellie. Meet me at the grind in 20 minutes.
The coffee shop was bustling with students when Zoe arrived. She spotted Jake Sullivan in a corner booth. His tall figure was bent over a steaming mug. As she approached, she could see the dark circles under his eyes. They mirrored her own sleepless nights.
Hey Zoe, what's this about?
Jake, I need you to tell me exactly what happened the night Ellie disappeared. Every detail.
I've already told the police everything I know. We had a fight, and she stormed off. That was the last time I saw her.
But that's not what Ellie told me. She said you two were fine that night, that you walked her home.
Jake's eyes widened. A brief look of confusion crossed his face. This confusion was quickly masked.
What? No, that's not true. Zoe, I swear I'm telling you the truth. We argued at the Rusty Nail. She left alone after that. I didn't see her afterwards.
Then why would she lie to me? The security footage from her dorm shows something interesting. It reveals her coming back with someone. This person looks like you. Why is that?
That's impossible. I was at home all night after the bar. I have roommates who can vouch for me.
Zoe leaned back in her seat. Her mind was racing with thoughts. The stories she had heard were conflicting. They painted a picture more complex than expected. It was also more disturbing than she had initially imagined.
Someone's lying, Jake, and I'm gonna find out who and why.
Zoe, be careful. If what you're saying is true, this goes deeper than just Ellie.
Zoe left the coffee shop on an autumn day. A chill ran down her spine, unrelated to the weather. She couldn't shake an uneasy feeling. It seemed like someone was watching her every move. Each step felt like it was leading her deeper into trouble. She feared being caught in a web of lies and deceit. Zoe worried she might not be able to escape the situation. The computer science department buzzed with activity. Students filed into the lecture hall. Zoe Harper looked tired, with dark circles around her eyes. She had endured another sleepless night. Zoe slumped into her usual seat in the front row. Professor Chen's voice cut through the chatter. He strode confidently to the podium.
Good morning, class. Today, we're starting a new project. We'll be diving into advanced encryption. This project will challenge even our brightest minds.
Zoe's ears perked up. Her exhaustion was briefly forgotten. She leaned forward eagerly. Her fingers were ready to tackle the problem.
You'll be working with advanced encryption techniques. Some of these techniques are used in top-secret government communications. This project will push the boundaries of data security. It will challenge what you thought was possible in this field. You'll be at the forefront of developing cutting-edge protection systems for sensitive information.
Professor Chen explained the details. Zoe's mind raced as she listened intently. She wrote notes quickly. Zoe made connections between the lecture and her own investigation. Her investigation focused on Ellie's disappearance. The information from Professor Chen seemed to offer new insights into the case Zoe was working on.
Professor Chen, could these techniques be used to hide messages in seemingly normal communications?
Excellent question, Zoe. Yes, that's one of the more fascinating applications. In fact, some believe there are hidden messages all around us. These messages are waiting to be uncovered. Decoding them requires people with the right skills.
A chill ran down Zoe's spine. She thought about Ellie's last email. The message had seemed oddly formal. It was unlike Ellie's usual style. Zoe wondered if there was more to it. Could she have missed something important? After class, Zoe rushed to the computer lab. Her mind was buzzing with ideas. She opened Ellie's email on the computer. Zoe began applying the encryption techniques. These were the techniques Professor Chen had discussed in class. The possibilities of what she could do excited her.
Come on, Ellie. What were you trying to tell me?
Hours passed as Zoe worked intently. She remained unaware of her classmates' worried looks. Finally, a series of jumbled letters appeared on her screen. These characters slowly began to form recognizable words.
Oh my goodness. The situation seems dire. They're watching, the message warns. Trust no one, it continues. The final caution states, even this isn't safe. Ellie, what dangerous circumstances have you found yourself in?
Zoe was startled by the sound of her phone. It was a text message. The text came from Jake. Jake was Ellie's ex-boyfriend.
Hey Zoe, haven't seen you around lately. Everything okay?
Zoe hesitated at her keyboard. Ellie's warning echoed in her mind. Trust no one, Ellie had said, but Zoe needed allies for her mission. She was determined to uncover the truth.
Jake, I need to talk to you. It's about Ellie. Can we meet?
Sure, I'm free now. Coffee shop on campus?
No, too public. Meet me at the old library stacks. 3rd floor, back corner, 20 minutes.
Zoe packed up her things. She didn't notice Professor Chen watching her. He stood in the doorway. His expression was clouded with concern and something darker. The professor's face revealed a mix of worry and unease as he observed Zoe.
Be careful, Zoe. Some secrets are better left buried.
Zoe turned quickly. She was startled. An unexpected presence had surprised her.
Professor Chen, I was just working on the project.
Of course. Just remember this important point. Brilliant minds like yours are always in demand. However, not everyone seeking such talent has good intentions.
Zoe hurried out of the lab. Her mind raced with new questions. Was Professor Chen warning her, or was he threatening her? She wondered how far-reaching this conspiracy really was. The quaint streets of Millbrook were eerily quiet. Usually they bustled with college students and locals. Zoe made her way downtown, feeling uneasy. Her eyes darted from one security camera to another. A new feeling of fear grew with her every movement.
This can't be a coincidence. Something's off about this town. I'm gonna figure out what it is.
Zoe approached the main intersection. Suddenly, the traffic light began to flash unpredictably. This caused confusion among drivers. Cars honked loudly in response. Drivers had to react quickly. They managed to avoid collisions by narrow margins.
Hey, what's the deal with these lights? They've been acting up all week.
Excuse me, did you say this has been happening all week?
Yeah, it seems like the whole town is experiencing problems. First, the lights stopped working. Then, the ATMs went down. It's probably just those college students messing around again. They might be working on their tech projects.
Zoe's mind raced as she connected dots that others seemed to overlook. She pulled out her phone discreetly. She noted the location and time of the malfunction. Her quick thinking allowed her to capture important details that might have been missed by others.
Thanks for the info. I'll keep an eye out.
Zoe continued her walk. She spotted an ATM nearby. The ATM had an unusual message on its screen. The message was scrolling across the display.
What the...
A message appeared on the screen. It read, "The truth lies beneath. Seek and you shall find." The message flickered briefly. Then the standard interface returned.
This has to be connected to Ellie's disappearance. But how?
Zoe was deep in thought. She nearly bumped into someone. It was Professor Chen.
Zoe, I've been looking for you. How's your project coming along?
Oh, Professor Chen, It's going. I've actually been noticing some strange occurrences around town. Do you know anything about the recent technical glitches?
Glitches? I haven't noticed anything unusual. I've been deeply focused on research lately. Why don't you stop by my office later? We can discuss it further then.
Zoe hesitated for a moment. Her instincts were sending her a warning. She felt the need to be cautious. The sudden pause in her actions was prompted by an internal alert, urging her to proceed with care and awareness of her surroundings.
Sure, I'll try to swing by. Thanks, Professor.
Professor Chen walked away. Zoe felt uneasy, sensing someone watching her. She quickened her pace. Zoe headed towards the library to continue her research.
I need to map out these glitches. There's a pattern here, I know it. Ellie, what were you trying to tell me?
Inside the library, Zoe found a quiet corner. She began marking problem spots on a digital map. The map displayed the town of Millbrook. As points appeared on the screen, Zoe felt a sudden, unsettling insight.
No way. These aren't random at all. They're forming some kind of network.
Her phone buzzed. It was a text message. The sender was unknown. The message contained a warning. It read as follows: "Stop digging. You're in over your head." This brief but urgent communication advised the recipient to cease their current actions, suggesting they had become too deeply involved in a potentially problematic situation.
Who sent this? How did they... No, I can't let them scare me off. Ellie needs me.
Zoe's hands shook as she clutched her phone. A sense of loneliness weighed heavily on her. She glanced around the library nervously. Suddenly, she felt exposed and vulnerable in the public space.
I need help, but who can I trust? Detective Marks? Jake? No, I have to do this on my own. It's the only way to keep everyone safe.
Zoe felt a renewed sense of determination. She turned her attention back to her computer with focus. Zoe began diving deeper into Millbrook's hidden digital world. All the while, she remained unaware of the watchful eyes tracking her every move. Zoe Harper sat in a dimly lit corner of her dorm room. She hunched over her laptop, fingers moving quickly over the keyboard. The soft blue glow of the screen illuminated her determined face. Zoe was searching through complex encrypted information. Her intense focus was evident as she worked late into the night.
Come on. There has to be something here.
Suddenly, Zoe's eyes widened. A series of corrupted video files caught her attention. These files had just appeared on her screen.
These aren't just damaged. They've been deliberately altered.
Zoe leaned in closer, her face focused intently. She began to analyze the altered video. Hours passed as she worked tirelessly. The first light of dawn filtered through her window. Finally, Zoe sat back and rubbed her tired eyes, her task complete.
I can't believe it. They've removed Ellie from the campus security footage. This happened on that specific night. But why did they do this? And how did they manage it?
Zoe paused briefly. She was about to answer the phone.
Detective Marks? I need to show you something. It's about Ellie.
Later that morning, Zoe sat across from Detective Marks. They were in his office. Zoe's laptop was open between them.
Ms. Harper, I understand your concern. You're worried about your friend. However, hacking into private security systems is illegal. This action is considered a serious offense.
I know. But look at this footage. It's been tampered with. Ellie was there that night. Someone has made significant efforts to erase her from the record.
That's a bold claim. How can you be sure it's not just corrupted data?
The alterations are too precise and intentional. This isn't random corruption. Someone with serious technical expertise did this.
Detective Marks leaned back in his chair. His expression showed a mix of emotions. Skepticism and curiosity were evident on his face.
I'll have our tech team take a look. Zoe, you need to be careful. If what you're saying is true, it could be dangerous.
I can't just sit back and do nothing. Ellie's out there somewhere, and I'm going to find her.
Zoe left the police station. She made her way to the Millbrook Library. Zoe was determined to find more leads. She examined historical records of the town. A dusty old blueprint caught her eye.
Wait a minute. These tunnels aren't on any modern map of Millbrook. Could this be connected?
Zoe traced the faded lines with her finger. A chill ran down her spine. She couldn't ignore the sense of discovery. Zoe realized she had stumbled upon something much bigger than expected. This finding was far beyond what she had initially imagined.
Ellie, what did you get yourself into?
Zoe felt a renewed sense of determination. She began photographing the old documents in the library. Her mind buzzed with new theories and connections. However, Zoe was unaware that her actions had not gone unnoticed. Watchful eyes were already tracking her every move. Before we continue, let's take a moment to reflect. What are your thoughts on this story? What would you like to hear next? Please share your ideas in the comments. The musty scent of aged concrete filled Zoe's nostrils. She descended the narrow staircase into Millbrook College's basement. Her flashlight beam danced across the grimy walls. It cast eerie shadows that seemed to watch her every move. The damp atmosphere heightened her senses as she ventured deeper into the darkness.
This has to be it. The access point has to be down here somewhere.
Zoe's fingers flew across her smartphone. She was checking stolen blueprints from the college's database. Suddenly, a faint humming caught her attention. The sound was barely audible, but clearly didn't belong. It stood out starkly in the musty silence around her.
What the?
She traced the sound to a seemingly solid wall. Pressing her ear against the wall, she felt the vibration intensify. Zoe's heart raced with anticipation. She ran her hands along the rough surface. Her fingers searched for any irregularity. The wall appeared solid, but something unusual caught her attention. A section of the wall shifted under her touch. This revealed a sleek, modern panel. The panel was oddly set within the ancient stonework, creating a stark contrast.
Gotcha.
Zoe's fingers trembled as she worked. She connected her specialized tool to the panel. On her screen, lines of computer code appeared and moved quickly. Zoe was trying to get past the security measures. Her nerves were evident, but she focused on the task at hand.
Come on, yes.
The wall slid aside. It revealed a dimly lit tunnel stretching into darkness. Zoe hesitated for a moment. The weight of her decision pressed down on her. She thought of Ellie, her missing friend. Zoe steeled her resolve.
I'm coming for you, Ellie, whatever it takes.
Zoe stepped into the tunnel, her flashlight beam illuminating sleek metal walls. These walls seemed utterly out of place in the old college building. As she ventured deeper, she encountered more and more advanced technology. There were biometric scanners and holographic interfaces. She also saw devices she couldn't even begin to identify. The contrast between the ancient structure and the futuristic equipment was striking.
This is insane. How could all this be here without anyone knowing?
Suddenly, a distant sound echoed through the tunnel. The sound was footsteps, growing louder. Zoe felt a rush of panic. She realized she wasn't alone.
Shit!
Zoe frantically searched for a hiding spot. Her heart was pounding in her ears. Quickly, she squeezed into a narrow alcove. Just then, two figures in dark clothing appeared. They came around the corner suddenly. Their faces were hidden behind advanced face shields.
The system registered an unauthorized access. Someone's down here.
Zoe held her breath. She pressed herself against the cold metal wall. The cult members passed by her hiding spot. Their boots echoed eerily in the confined space. Zoe remained motionless, hoping to avoid detection in the tense atmosphere.
Spread out, whoever it is. They couldn't have gone far. Remember, we need them alive.
The footsteps faded away. Zoe's mind raced with thoughts. She knew she needed to escape quickly. However, she had discovered valuable information. The technology she had seen was too important. She couldn't leave it all behind.
Think, Zoe, think. You've got one shot at this.
Her hands were shaking as she pulled out her phone. She began rapidly photographing everything in sight. Each click of the camera pierced the silence. Just as she finished, the footsteps returned. They were closer this time. Zoe bolted away quickly. Her sneakers squeaked on the polished floor. She ran back the way she came.
There! Stop her!
Zoe's lungs burned as she sprinted through the tunnel. The shouts of her pursuers grew louder behind her. She burst through the hidden entrance. Zoe slammed her hand on the panel to close it. The entrance sealed shut behind her, cutting off the pursuit. She didn't stop running until she reached safety. The crowded courtyard on campus offered refuge. Gasping for air, Zoe leaned against a tree. Her mind was reeling from what she had discovered. The bustling area around her contrasted sharply with her inner turmoil.
Oh God, Ellie, what have I gotten myself into?
Students milled around Zoe, unaware of the secret world beneath their feet. Zoe clutched her phone tightly, processing her recent discovery. She now knew the mystery went deeper than she had ever imagined. There was no turning back from this revelation. The soft glow of computer screens lit up Jake's cluttered apartment. Zoe hesitantly stepped inside the dimly lit space. The air felt thick with tension. A faint hum of electronics filled the room.
Look, I'm only here because we both want to find Ellie. This doesn't mean I trust you.
I get it, Zoe. Trust isn't exactly my strong suit either. But right now, we need each other.
Jake gestured towards his workspace. It was a makeshift workstation. The setup consisted of a messy arrangement. Monitors and hard drives were scattered about.
I've been investigating the digital trails you mentioned. There's definitely something strange happening. It involves the security footage from the night Ellie vanished. The recordings show unusual activity that needs further examination.
Show me.
Zoe's eyes narrowed as she leaned in. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. Lines of code reflected in her glasses. She delved deeper into the manipulated data.
This is sophisticated. We're not dealing with amateur hackers here. These digital alibis are nearly perfect.
Nearly perfect?
There's always a flaw if you know where to look. Take a look at this timestamp. It's off by tiny fractions of a second. Most people wouldn't notice this small difference. But for those who pay close attention, it's a telltale sign that something isn't quite right.
but you're not most people.
A hint of admiration appeared in Jake's voice. This caused Zoe to stiffen slightly. She wasn't used to receiving compliments. It was especially uncomfortable coming from someone she was trying hard not to trust.
We need to follow this trail. There's a tech repair shop downtown. The shop might have access to the original footage. This is before the footage was tampered with.
I know the place. Let's go.
Zoe and her companion made their way to the shop. She experienced a mix of excitement and unease. The thrill of the chase was intoxicating. However, Jake's presence beside her made Zoe feel vulnerable. His closeness served as a constant reminder of her uncertain situation. The electronics repair store was dark inside. Broken devices lined the shelves in rows. Jake kept the clerk busy at the front counter. Meanwhile, Zoe quietly entered the back room. Her heart raced with excitement as she moved.
Come on. Where are you?
Suddenly, a shadow fell across the doorway. Zoe turned quickly. She came face to face with a hooded figure.
You shouldn't be here.
Jake! Help!
The room suddenly became chaotic as Jake burst in. A struggle immediately followed. During the commotion, Zoe managed to grab a hard drive. They were then forced to flee quickly from the scene.
What the hell was that? Are you okay?
I'm fine. But this changes everything. They know we're onto them.
Zoe and Jake caught their breath in a nearby alley. Zoe clutched the hard drive tightly to her chest. She looked at Jake with new respect in her eyes. The tension of their recent experience lingered in the air between them.
Thanks for having my back in there.
Always. We're in this together now, whether you like it or not.
Zoe nodded, a small smile tugging at her lips. For the first time since Ellie vanished, she felt hopeful. But as the rush faded, a chilling thought struck her. They were now targets of a dangerous, high-tech cult. The search for truth had become a fight to stay alive. The sun was setting over Millbrook College. Zoe Harper made her way to Professor Chen's office. Her heart raced with anticipation. She clutched a USB drive tightly in her hand. The drive contained her latest findings. The hallways were eerily quiet. Her footsteps echoed on the old linoleum floors.
Come in, Zoe. I've been expecting you.
Zoe entered the office. Her eyes were immediately drawn to the chaotic desk. Papers and tech gadgets were scattered across Professor Chen's workspace. The professor's smile seemed warm. However, there was something in his gaze that made Zoe hesitate.
Professor Chen, I've made some progress in my investigation. I think I'm onto something big.
That's wonderful, Zoe. Your dedication is truly admirable. What have you uncovered?
Zoe began to explain her findings. She couldn't shake an uneasy feeling. Something seemed off about the situation. Professor Chen nodded as he listened. His expressions shifted between interest and concern.
I've discovered evidence of data manipulation. This manipulation appears in the town's security footage. The tampering is sophisticated, but I've managed to find clues. I've isolated some inconsistencies in the data. These inconsistencies suggest a larger conspiracy may be at work.
That's quite a claim, Zoe. Are you certain about this? We wouldn't want to jump to conclusions.
Zoe frowned at Professor Chen's reaction. His sudden caution took her by surprise. She had expected more enthusiasm from him. After all, this was her breakthrough.
I'm sure about this, Professor. The evidence is clear. I think this goes beyond Ellie's disappearance. There's something bigger happening in Millbrook.
I see what you mean. Well, Zoe, I think it might be best if you take a step back. Perhaps you're getting too close to this situation. Your academic work should be your top priority right now.
A chill ran down Zoe's spine. Professor Chen's words felt rehearsed. It seemed like he was trying to discourage her from investigating further. Zoe decided to test her growing suspicion about the professor's behavior.
Actually, Professor, I have news. I have already shared some of my findings with Detective Marks. The detective seemed quite interested in what I told him.
Professor Chen's face flickered with an emotion. Zoe couldn't quite place what it was. Was it alarm? Or perhaps anger? The emotion vanished in an instant. It was replaced by his usual calm demeanor.
Detective Marks? I see. Well, Zoe, I need to caution you about something. The pursuit of truth can be risky. It sometimes leads us down dangerous paths.
Zoe left Professor Chen's office with more questions than answers. Her mind raced as she made her way to the Millbrook police station. She was determined to follow up with Detective Marks.
Harper, I'm glad you're here. We need to talk.
Detective Marks ushered Zoe into a small conference room. His face showed a combination of emotions. The detective appeared both concerned and excited.
I've been looking into those anomalies. You pointed them out in the security footage. You were right, Zoe. Something's not adding up.
You believe me now?
Let's just say I'm starting to believe it. We've uncovered some discrepancies in witness statements. These align with your theory of digital manipulation. It's like there are two versions of events. We're now seeing the cracks between them.
Zoe felt a wave of justification. However, this feeling soon dampened. A growing sense of unease took its place.
Detective, I think this goes deeper than we initially thought. I'm starting to suspect something more serious. There may be people in positions of authority involved. This situation appears to be more complex than we first believed, with potential implications reaching higher levels of power.
That's a serious accusation, Harper. What makes you say that?
I have a feeling about something. It's about how some people have reacted to my investigation. Their reactions seem to be trying to guide me. They appear to want to gently direct me away from certain areas of inquiry.
Detective Marks leaned back in his chair. His expression was serious, reflecting the gravity of the situation.
Listen, Zoe. If what you're saying is true, we need to be very cautious. Trust no one completely, not even me. Keep digging, but watch your back. This town might not be what we thought it was.
Zoe left the police station, feeling weighed down by her discoveries. The town she once knew seemed different now. Familiar faces appeared as potential threats around her. In her search for Ellie, Zoe had uncovered a shocking truth. This revelation could shake Millbrook to its very core. The weight of her newfound knowledge transformed her perception of her hometown. Every step through the once familiar streets now felt like treading on uncertain ground. Zoe realized that her quest had led her to uncover secrets that could change everything in Millbrook forever. The abandoned warehouse loomed before Zoe and Jake. Its old outer walls hid secrets they were determined to uncover. As they approached, an eerie silence surrounded them. The industrial area made them feel uneasy and alert.
Jake, are you sure about this? We could be walking into a trap.
We don't have much choice, Zoe. If Ellie's in there, we have to try.
Zoe nodded firmly. Her face showed intense determination. She reached into her backpack. From it, she pulled out a small device.
I've got a signal jammer. It should buy us some time if they have any surveillance.
They slowly entered the building. The stale air was filled with tension. As they rounded a corner, both suddenly stopped. They were shocked by what they saw.
What the?
Before them stood rows of high-end computers. Monitors flickered with streams of data. The contrast was jarring. A decrepit exterior concealed this advanced setup inside. The old, worn-out building housed cutting-edge technology, creating a striking visual disconnect.
This is it, Jake. We've discovered how they're doing it. They're manipulating digital records. They're also creating false alibis. All the evidence is right here.
Zoe's fingers flew over a keyboard. Her eyes scanned the information quickly. The rapid typing and swift reading showcased her efficiency with technology.
My God, they've infiltrated the town's entire digital infrastructure. They have control over traffic cameras and phone records. Even bank statements are not safe from their reach. They can alter all of this information at will.
We need to get this to Detective Marks. This is the proof we've been looking for.
A door slammed in the distance. Muffled voices followed. Zoe's face showed sudden fear.
They're here. We've got to move now.
Zoe's heart was pounding. She quickly inserted a flash drive. Zoe copied as much data as she could. Jake pulled her away before she finished. They slipped out through a back exit. They narrowly avoided detection. Later that evening, Zoe returned to her apartment. She was tired, yet excited by their discovery. As she turned the key in the lock, she paused. A sense of unease washed over her.
No.
The apartment was in complete disarray. Furniture was overturned and papers were scattered all around. Zoe's eyes were fixed on her desk. Her computer lay in pieces on the desk surface. The hard drives were clearly missing from the dismantled machine.
Jake? They found me. They destroyed everything. I don't know what to do.
Zoe, listen to me carefully. Don't touch anything around you. I'm coming over to you right now. We'll figure this out together, okay?
As Zoe hung up, she sank to the floor. The full weight of her situation finally hit her. This wasn't just about finding Ellie anymore. She was in a war against a powerful enemy. This enemy could erase her very existence with a few keystrokes.
What have I gotten myself into?
In the silence of her damaged home, Zoe made a realization. There was no turning back now. Her search for answers had transformed. It was now a fight for survival. The campus coffee shop bustled with activity. Zoe Harper sat alone in a corner booth. Her laptop screen cast a blue glow on her face. Zoe's fingers flew across the keyboard. Her eyes darted nervously around the room. She scanned for any sign of surveillance.
Hey Zoe, mind if I join you?
Jake? I'm actually pretty busy right now.
Jake Sullivan stood awkwardly by the table. He had a concerned look on his face. Zoe's shoulders tensed up. She quickly turned her screen away from him. This action seemed automatic, as if she was hiding something.
Look, I know you're working hard to find Ellie. I want to help. Maybe we could compare notes?
I appreciate the offer, but I work better alone. Besides, I'm not sure who I can trust right now.
Jake's expression fell. A mixture of hurt and frustration was visible. These emotions appeared clearly on his face.
Zoe, you can't keep pushing everyone away. We're on the same side here.
Are we? How do I know you're not involved with the cult? You were Ellie's ex, after all.
Jake stepped back. He was visibly stung by Zoe's accusation. Jake shook his head, sadly.
I can't believe you'd think that. I loved Ellie. I still do. But if this is how you want to play it, fine. Good luck on your own, Zoe.
Jake stormed out of the coffee shop. Zoe felt a sudden regret. She knew she was pushing him away. Worry about betrayal clouded her judgment. Suddenly, her phone buzzed with a new message.
The
message came from an unknown number. It contained only a string of seemingly random characters. Zoe's heart raced as she recognized it as an encrypted message. Within minutes, she had decrypted it.
Meet me at the police station. Ask for Detective Marks. Come alone. Trust no one.
Zoe hesitated, feeling conflicted. Her mind was torn between caution and curiosity. After a brief pause to think, she made a decision. Quickly, she packed up her laptop and moved to leave the room. An hour later, Zoe found herself in Detective Mark's office. The room was cluttered and disorganized. The weather detective leaned back in his chair. He studied Zoe with a mixture of doubt and curiosity. His expression revealed both skepticism and interest in her presence.
So, Miss Harper, I hear you've been doing some digging into your friend's disappearance.
That's right. I've uncovered evidence of a high-tech cult operating in Nullbrook. I believe they're responsible for Ellie's disappearance. They may be behind other disappearances, too.
Detective Marks leaned forward. His expression changed suddenly. It became intense.
I know what's going on. I've been building a case against them for months. They are slippery characters. They always seem to be one step ahead.
Wait, you believe me? Why didn't you say anything before?
We couldn't risk tipping them off. But now, with your skills, we have an opportunity. We might be able to solve this case completely.
Zoe experienced mixed emotions. She felt both validated and suspicious. The situation appeared too good to be true. Her conflicting feelings left her uncertain about how to respond.
How do I know I can trust you?
You don't, but right now I'm your best shot at finding your friend. Are you in?
Zoe considered the detective's offer carefully. Her eyes landed on a file peeking out from under papers on his desk. The name on the tab made her blood run cold. It read, Operation Firewall. This was the same codename Zoe had uncovered in her investigation. It was linked to the cult's digital communications.
What's Operation Firewall?
Detective Mark's eyes widened slightly. The change was almost imperceptible. He quickly regained his composure.
Just an old case. Nothing to do with this.
Zoe's fragile trust began to crumble. She realized this situation was a network of lies. Even those who appeared friendly might be hiding dark secrets of their own.
I'll think about your offer, Detective. I need some time.
Zoe left the police station with her mind racing. She had found an unexpected ally in Detective Marks. However, his connection to Operation Firewall raised alarming questions. The system of trust she had built was failing. This left Zoe feeling more isolated than ever. She remained determined in her quest for the truth. The sterile halls of Millbrook Hospital echoed softly. Fluorescent lights hummed as Zoe Harper walked through. The corridors were deserted and quiet. Zoe's heart raced with anticipation. She knew the answers she sought lay somewhere in the building below.
This has to be it. The access point should be right here.
Zoe's fingers moved swiftly over her modified smartphone. She bypassed the hospital's security systems with practiced ease. A hidden panel in the wall slid open. It revealed a narrow staircase descending into darkness.
Bingo. Let's see what secrets you're hiding down there.
As Zoe descended, the temperature dropped noticeably. The stairs led to a dimly lit server room. The walls were lined with humming machines. She approached a central terminal. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard.
Okay, focus, Zoe. Find Ellie's records first, then worry about the rest.
For several tense minutes, silence filled the room. The only sound was the fast tapping of keyboard keys. Zoe worked intently, navigating through complex, protected information. Suddenly, her eyes widened in shock at what she discovered.
What the... This can't be right. Ellie's entire medical history has been altered. It appears they've completely rewritten her life.
A chill ran down Zoe's spine. She delved deeper into the database. Her hands began to shake. She stumbled upon a familiar name.
No. That's my file. But this isn't me. These aren't my memories.
Zoe stared at the screen, her mind spinning. She was reading through a medical history she didn't recognize. The document listed surgeries she never had. It also mentioned illnesses she never suffered. Even traumas she never experienced were included. All of this false information was carefully recorded in detail.
I'm afraid you've seen too much, Ms. Harper.
Zoe whirled around to face a figure standing in the doorway. The figure was a tech-savvy cult member. His face was hidden in shadow. Despite this, his voice was calm and cold.
Who are you? What have you done to our records?
We've adjusted reality to better suit our needs. Your friend Ellie was getting too close to the truth. Now, it seems you are also discovering this reality.
You can't just erase people's lives.
Can't we? Tell me, Zoe. How certain are you that the memories you hold dear are truly your own?
Zoe's mind raced with confusion. She struggled to separate fact from fiction. The cult member took a step closer. His hand reached into his pocket.
Stay back. I've already sent everything I've found to secure servers. You can't cover this up.
Oh, Zoe, you still don't understand the extent of our reach, do you?
As the cult member advanced, Zoe frantically searched for an escape route. Her eyes darted between the exit and the terminal. She knew that one wrong move could cost her everything.
It seems our time is up. We'll meet again, Miss Harper. Please try to sort out your real memories.
The cult member retreated with a sardonic smile. Zoe was left alone in the pulsing red glow of the alarm. She stood frozen, her world shattered. Zoe questioned every memory and experience that had shaped her life.
What's real? Who am I really?
The sound of approaching footsteps echoed from the stairwell. Zoe knew she had to move quickly. She fled the underground server room in haste. As she escaped, Zoe carried a burden with her. This burden was far heavier than any physical evidence. It was the crushing weight of doubt about her core identity. The uncertainty weighed on her mind as she made her getaway, leaving behind more than just the physical space of the server room. The sun had barely risen when Zoe arrived at Professor Chen's doorstep. Her heart was pounding with a mix of anticipation and dread. Zoe had spent the entire night analyzing bits of information. The picture becoming clear was as disturbing as it was certain. Her trusted mentor was somehow connected to Ellie's disappearance.
Zoe, what are you doing here so early?
Professor Chen, we need to talk. Now.
Chen's eyes widened slightly. He registered the steel in Zoe's voice. Chen stepped aside. He allowed Zoe to enter.
Come in. What's this about?
I know, Professor. I know about your connection to the cult.
Chen's face paled. His composure faltered for a moment. However, he quickly regained control of his emotions.
Zoe, you don't understand. It's not what you think.
Then explain it to me. Where's Ellie? What have you done with her?
I haven't done anything to Ellie. You're right about something, though. I am connected to the group you've been investigating.
Zoe's fingers curled into fists. Her nails dug into her palms. She fought to maintain her composure. The tension in her body was evident as she struggled to control her emotions.
Why? How could you be involved in something like this?
It started as a research project, Zoe. The goal was to expand the limits of technology and human potential. However, the project took an unexpected turn. It evolved into something more.
Into kidnapping? Mind control?
The situation is more complicated than it seems. There's a group that believes they're working for a greater good. You might call this group a cult. Ellie made a discovery she wasn't meant to find. This unauthorized revelation has significant implications for the group's activities and beliefs.
Zoe's mind raced with sudden realization. She was connecting dots she hadn't noticed before. Chen's subtle encouragement of her investigation stood out. The conveniently placed clues now seemed suspicious.
You've been manipulating me this whole time, haven't you?
I've been trying to guide you, Zoe, to help you uncover the truth without putting you in danger.
Where is she? Where's Ellie?
I don't know exactly where she is. However, I believe she's being held somewhere. The location is likely under the town hall. There's a secret tech hub down there.
Zoe's phone buzzed. A text from Jake appeared. The message read, "I'm outside. Got your message. What's going on?" Jake's words hinted at urgency and curiosity about Zoe's situation.
You're going to tell me everything you know, Professor. Then you're going to help us. We need to get Ellie back.
Zoe, please. You don't know what you're up against.
No, you don't know what you're up against. I'm not stopping until I find her.
With that, Zoe turned and stormed out. She left behind a shaken Professor Chen. Outside, Jake was waiting in his car.
Zoe, what happened in there?
I know where Ellie is. We're going to the town hall.
As they drove, Zoe filled Jake in on Chen's revelations. The town hall loomed ahead of them. Its quaint exterior hid sinister secrets beneath.
Are you sure about this, Zoe? Maybe we should call Detective Marks?
No time. We do this now.
Chen reluctantly provided some information. Using this, Zoe and Jake found a hidden entrance to the basement. As they descended, the air grew thick. The space was filled with a hum of servers and electronics.
This is it. The cult's tech hub.
Zoe's fingers flew over a keypad. Her hacking skills were put to the ultimate test. Suddenly, a loud alarm blared through the facility.
Zoe, we've got to get out of here.
Not without answers. Not without Ellie.
Footsteps echoed from multiple directions. Zoe and Jake found themselves trapped in the center of the cult's activities. They were surrounded by screens flickering with data and surveillance footage. The hunt for Ellie had reached its most dangerous point yet. There was no turning back for them now. Before we continue, let's take a moment to reflect. What are your thoughts on this story? What would you like to hear next? Please share your ideas in the comments. Deep beneath the quaint streets of Millbrook, Zoe and Jake descend. They enter the heart of the cult's underground lair. The air grows thick with humidity and electronics. They navigate through dimly lit corridors. The passageways are lined with humming servers.
Jake, I've never seen anything like this. The processing power here, it's off the charts.
I can barely wrap my head around it. How deep does this rabbit hole go, Zoe?
Zoe's fingers fly across her tablet. Her eyes dart between the screen and the surrounding technology. Suddenly, she freezes in place. Her face turns pale in the blue glow of a nearby monitor. The complex array of devices around her seems to fade into the background as she focuses intently on whatever has caught her attention.
Oh, God. Jake, look at this. It's not just Ellie. There are dozens of profiles here. These are missing persons from all over the region.
What? How is that possible?
Jake leans in closer. His face looks horrified and disbelieving. He carefully scans the information displayed on Zoe's screen.
Someone is running a massive VR experiment. These people aren't just missing. They're trapped in a virtual world.
Can you find Ellie in there?
I'm trying. There's so much data to sift through. Wait. I think I've got something.
A holographic display flickers to life in front of them. It reveals a 3D map of linked digital worlds. Zoe's hands shake slightly as she navigates. She moves through the projection with care, exploring the virtual spaces.
There. That's Ellie's biosignature. She's in one of the deepest layers of the simulation.
Can we get her out?
The situation is not as simple as it may seem. Their minds are completely immersed in the experience. Abruptly removing them could lead to serious consequences. There's a risk of severe mental harm or emotional trauma.
Zoe's voice trails off. The implications hang heavy in the air. Suddenly, an alarm blares through the facility. The unspoken consequences linger as the unexpected sound breaks the tension.
Shit! They've detected us. We need to move now.
Just give me 2 more minutes. I can download a copy of their system design. This might be our only chance. We need to figure out how to free everyone.
Jake anxiously watches the entrance. Meanwhile, Zoe works feverishly at the interface. Her fingers move in a blur over the controls. The sound of approaching footsteps echoes in the distance.
Zoe, we're out of time.
Got it. Let's go.
Zoe and her companions sprint towards their escape route. She clutches her tablet tightly. The device now holds the key to exposing the cult's evil online trap. The weight of their discovery settles on Zoe's shoulders. It feels like a physical burden. They face a daunting challenge ahead.
Jake, whatever happens, we can't let them catch us. The truth has to get out.
We're in this together, Zoe. All the way.
Cult members are in hot pursuit of Zoe and Jake. The pair races through maze-like tunnels underground. Their minds are reeling from the shocking truth they've just discovered. Now, they face an enormous challenge ahead of them. The dim blue glow of monitors illuminated Zoe's determined face. Her fingers flew across the keyboard in the control room. The virtual reality chamber's room hummed with servers and cooling fans. This created a stark contrast to the eerie silence beyond the reinforced door. Inside, Ellie and other victims lay trapped in their digital prisons.
Come on, come on. There has to be a way to break through these firewalls.
Zoe, how's it looking? Have you found a way to disconnect them safely?
Not yet, Jake. The security on this system is completely new to me. It's responding instantly to what I do.
Jake leaned over Zoe's shoulder, his brow furrowed with concern. The screens before them displayed a maze of code. Pulsing virtual landscapes filled the monitors. In these digital realms, their friends' minds were trapped.
There's got to be something we're missing. What if we...
The control room door hissed open. A shadowy outline appeared in the doorway. Zoe recognized the figure with dread. She had hoped never to see this person in real life.
Impressive work, Miss Harper. I must say, you've exceeded even my expectations.
You're the one behind all this. The disappearances, the cover-ups.
Oh, I'm much more than that. I'm the architect of a new world order. In this order, the boundaries between reality and virtuality blur. These boundaries fade into insignificance. My vision creates a realm where the real and virtual worlds merge seamlessly. This new reality challenges our understanding of what is genuine and what is artificial.
The cult leader stepped into the light. His face was revealed, seeming both familiar and alien. Zoe's mind raced as she tried to place the features. She struggled to remember where she had seen them before.
Let them go. You can't keep people trapped in VR against their will.
Can't I? You fail to see the bigger picture. These so-called victims are actually pioneers. They're experiencing a unique state of being. It's a form of life you can't even comprehend.
You're insane. This isn't advancement. It's imprisonment.
Such limited thinking, Zoe. I expected more from you. Don't you see? The physical world is a cage. We're freeing humanity from its flesh-bound constraints. Our goal is to liberate people from their physical limitations. We believe this will open up new possibilities for human existence.
Zoe's eyes darted between the cult leader and the screens. She noticed a pattern in the code. This pattern revealed a potential vulnerability. Zoe realized she might be able to exploit it. The discovery filled her with a mix of excitement and apprehension.
Jake, keep him talking. I think I've found something.
Why Millbrook? Why here?
An excellent question. This town provided the perfect environment for our experiments. It had a focus on advanced technology and an isolated location. The college was a place that nurtures great thinkers like Zoe. There was minimal interference from the outside world. These conditions were ideal for our work.
The cult leader was delivering a long speech. Meanwhile, Zoe's fingers moved incredibly fast. She was implementing a series of complex commands.
But enough chat. Step away from the console, both of you. It's time to join your friends. They await you in the digital utopia.
Not a chance. Jake, now!
Jake lunged at the cult leader. The sudden attack caught him off guard. In that moment of distraction, Zoe acted. She carried out her final instruction.
I've triggered a system-wide reboot. This should disrupt the VR connections. The disruption will last long enough for everyone to wake up.
No. Do you realize what you've done? You're condemning them back to an inferior existence.
The screens flickered, showing vital signs rapidly increasing. The trapped individuals began to stir. Zoe turned to face the cult leader. Her eyes blazed with a powerful mix of triumph and anger.
It's over. Your utopia ends now.
You think this is the end? This is merely a setback. The future I envision is inevitable.
The sound of approaching sirens filled the air. Detective Marks and his team had finally arrived. They were drawn by the alert Zoe had sent earlier.
Zoe, we did it. We actually did it.
We're not done yet, Jake. There's still so much to uncover, so many questions.
Zoe looked at the screens one last time. She watched as Ellie and the others showed signs of waking. A mix of relief and determination washed over her. The immediate danger had passed. However, Zoe knew this was just the beginning. She now faced the task of uncovering how far the cult's power reached in Millbrook. It would be a challenging journey to expose the full extent of their influence on the town. Chaos erupted in Millbrook as news of the cult's exposure spread rapidly. The once peaceful town square was now bustling with activity. Police cars, ambulances, and news vans crowded the area. At the center stood Zoe Harper, watching the scene unfold. Her face showed a mix of relief and disbelief. This was the aftermath of her relentless investigation.
I can't believe it's finally over. But at what cost?
Zoe, you did it. You actually did it. You saved Ellie and who knows how many others.
Jake placed a comforting hand on Zoe's shoulder. His eyes showed both admiration and worry. Before Zoe could respond, Detective Marks approached. The detective's usual doubt was now replaced by reluctant respect.
Harper, we need your help. Dozens of victims are being brought to the hospital. We're struggling to understand what they've experienced. Your insight could be crucial in this situation.
Of course, Detective. What about Ellie? Have you found her?
We have. She's at the hospital now, but she's disoriented. It might be best if you come with us.
Zoe nodded, her heart racing with excitement. She was finally going to see her best friend again. They made their way to the police car. As they walked, the weight of her discovery began to sink in. Zoe started to realize the importance of what she had uncovered.
Jake, I don't know if I'm ready for this. What if Ellie blames me for not believing her sooner?
Hey, look at me. You never gave up on her. You risked everything to find the truth. Ellie will understand your dedication.
The drive to the hospital was tense. Zoe was deep in thought about what she had discovered. As they arrived, the emergency room was chaotic. It was a scene of controlled chaos. Medical staff rushed to attend to many new patients flooding in.
This way. Ellie's in a private room.
Zoe and Jake approached the room. Zoe hesitated at the door. Her hand hovered over the handle. Jake gave her an encouraging nod. She took a deep breath before entering.
Ellie?
Zoe? Is that really you?
Ellie's voice was weak. Her eyes were unfocused as she tried to understand her surroundings. Zoe rushed to her bedside. Tears welled up in Zoe's eyes.
It's me, Ellie. I'm here. You're safe now.
I knew you'd figure it out. Zoe, they showed us things. They made us believe certain things. Now I'm not sure what's real anymore.
Zoe gently took Ellie's hand. In that moment, Zoe's own doubts and fears faded away. She focused all her attention on comforting her friend.
We'll figure it out together, okay? I promise I won't let you down again.
Harper, I hate to interrupt. We need to debrief you on what you've uncovered. The scale of this situation is unprecedented. It's beyond anything we've ever dealt with before.
Zoe looked torn between two choices. She could stay with Ellie or help with the investigation. Jake stepped forward with an offer. He had a solution to propose.
I can stay with Ellie if you need to go, Zoe. She shouldn't be alone right now.
Thank you, Jake. Ellie, I'll be back soon, I promise. Jake will stay with you, okay?
Okay. Just, please don't leave me here for long.
Zoe left the room with Detective Marks. The significance of her discovery began to weigh heavily on her. The town's sense of reality had been shattered. Zoe found herself at the center of this shocking revelation. The impact of what she uncovered was enormous, affecting not just her, but the entire community.
Detective, how do we even begin to explain this to everyone? The situation involves complex digital manipulation. There are hidden networks at play. It's like something out of a nightmare. We're dealing with electronic data tampering on a scale that's hard to comprehend. These concealed systems are interconnected in ways we're still uncovering. The whole scenario feels surreal, as if we've stepped into a dark, tech-driven fantasy.
One step at a time, Harper. Right now, we need your expertise. We must understand the extent of the cult's reach. Are you ready for that?
Zoe took a deep breath. She was preparing herself for the challenges ahead. Zoe had exposed the truth. Now the real work was just beginning. She faced the task of rebuilding trust. Healing the town would be her ultimate goal. The road ahead would be difficult, but Zoe was determined to see it through.
I'm ready. Let's get to work.
The soft glow of a laptop screen illuminated Zoe's face. She sat in a comfortable position on her bed, surrounded by electronic devices. A tangle of cables added to the tech-filled scene. The familiar hum of computer fans filled the room. This sound had once been comforting to Zoe. Now, it carried echoes of recent traumas.
Come on, come on. Just a few more lines of code.
A gentle knock at the door startled Zoe. The sudden sound caused her to flinch. Her eyes darted to the security camera screen on one of her monitors. Then she called out.
Who is it?
It's me, Zoe. Can I come in?
Zoe's shoulders relaxed slightly at the sound of Ellie's voice. However, a hint of uncertainty still crossed her face. She hesitated before responding.
Yeah, sure. Door's open.
Ellie stepped into the room. Her eyes widened at the chaotic technology. Various gadgets surrounded her friend. Ellie approached cautiously. A look of concern was clear on her face.
Hey, how are you holding up?
I'm fine. Just working on some new security protocols. Can't be too careful, you know?
Ellie sat on the edge of the bed. She was careful not to disturb any of Zoe's equipment. Ellie reached out as if to touch Zoe's arm. She hesitated, unsure if the gesture would be welcome.
Zoe, I'm worried about you. You've hardly left this room since everything happened. Maybe it's time to take a break?
A break? Ellie asked. I can't just take a break right now. What if they're still out there? Our memories might not be reliable. I need to make sure we're safe.
Zoe's fingers moved quickly across the keyboard. Her eyes never left the screen. Ellie sighed and looked away. Her gaze drifted to a framed photo on the nightstand. It was a snapshot of them from freshman year. In the photo, they looked carefree and laughing.
I know you're trying to protect us, but I miss my friend Zoe. She used to take me to cheesy science fiction films. We would argue about whether androids could dream.
This finally caused Zoe to pause. Her hands hovered over the keyboard. She turned to look at Ellie. For the first time since Ellie had entered, Zoe really saw her.
I miss that too. But how can I go back to being that person? We've been through so much together. The experiences we've shared have changed me. Returning to my former self seems impossible now.
Maybe we can't go back, but we can move forward together. Jake called earlier, by the way. He's worried about you too.
At the mention of Jake's name, Zoe's face changed. A mix of emotions flashed across her features. She felt warmth, fear, and uncertainty.
Jake, I'm not sure if I'm ready to face him yet. I have doubts about my feelings for him. What if these emotions aren't genuine? Could they have been implanted by the cult? These questions weigh heavily on my mind as I consider our relationship and my own autonomy.
Oh, Zoe. Your feelings are real. I've seen the way you look at him. This was true even before recent events. That's not something anyone could fake or program.
Zoe's shoulders slumped down. The weight of her fears and doubts was visible. Ellie finally reached out to her friend. She placed a gentle hand on Zoe's arm.
Listen, why don't we start small? Let's go for a walk around campus. We can get some fresh air. Maybe we'll grab a coffee too. Remember, we're taking baby steps.
Zoe looked at her laptop. Then she glanced back at Ellie. For a moment, Zoe hesitated. She felt torn between two choices. On one side was her online sanctuary's safety. On the other, the offered human connection.
Okay, let's go for a short walk. I'm bringing my encrypted phone. We'll avoid any security cameras.
Deal. And hey, maybe later we can watch one of those terrible sci-fi movies. For old time's sake?
A small smile tugged at the corner of Zoe's mouth. It was her first genuine smile in weeks.
Only if I get to point out all the technological inaccuracies.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Zoe stood up and stepped away from her computers. A sense of vulnerability and relief came over her. She took a deep breath. In that moment, Zoe realized something important. Her most challenging debugging wasn't in her code. It was within herself. Zoe and Ellie headed towards the door together. They were taking the first careful steps towards mending their relationship. The journey ahead would be difficult. For the first time in a long while, Zoe felt a spark of hope. She believed she could find a balance between her tech expertise and personal connections. This new path promised a chance to blend her digital world with meaningful human interactions. The sun rose over Millbrook. It cast a new light on the forever changed town. Weeks had passed since the cult's exposure. Zoe Harper found herself at the community's center. The town was struggling to rebuild trust and security. Today, Zoe stood before the town council. She was ready to present her recommendations. Her goal was a safer, more transparent Millbrook.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here to discuss the introduction of new online protection measures. These safeguards are for our town. We've been through a difficult experience. It cannot happen again. Our goal is to ensure the safety of our community in the digital world.
And why should we trust you? Your investigation turned our whole town upside down.
I understand your skepticism, but what happened shows we need to take action. The cult exploited our vulnerabilities. This includes both technological and personal weaknesses. We now have a chance to protect ourselves and each other.
Zoe took a deep breath. Her fingers moved nervously as she fought an urge. She wanted to retreat into her comfort zone of programming. Instead, Zoe forced herself to focus. She looked directly at the council members, making eye contact.
I'm proposing a 3-level digital security system for all town infrastructure. This system includes regular security audits. We also need a public education program on recognizing digital deception. It's not just about technology. It's about creating a community that protects and supports each other in the digital world.
Ms. Harper, your proposals are thorough. We need to address a concern. How can we ensure these measures protect privacy? We must prevent any infringement on personal information.
That's an excellent question, Detective Marks. Transparency is key in our approach. All security measures will be open source. We will provide regular public reports. We're not replacing one system of control with another. Instead, we're empowering every citizen. We want people to understand their digital safety. Citizens can participate in ensuring their own digital security.
Zoe continued her presentation to the council. The atmosphere in the room began to change. Skepticism slowly gave way to cautious hope. Even the most resistant members started nodding along. As Zoe spoke, the mood shifted from doubt to careful optimism. The council's body language showed growing agreement with her points.
Zoe, I understand you've covered this story from the beginning. I'd like to ask you something personal about your experience. How has this journey changed you as an individual?
I've learned that true security isn't found in isolation or paranoia. Instead, it comes from connecting with others and building trust. We must remain vigilant while fostering these connections. I used to believe I could solve everything alone, working behind a screen. Now I understand that real solutions emerge from collaboration. By working together, we combine our strengths to find better answers.
Zoe's voice wavered slightly. However, her eyes remained steady. The journalist nodded in response. He quickly wrote notes, capturing every detail.
What about those of us who lost someone? How do these measures help us?
They can't undo what happened. I'm so sorry for your loss. However, they can help prevent it from happening to others. This plan includes resources for support groups and counseling. We heal together as a community.
As the meeting concluded, Zoe found herself surrounded by a mixed crowd. Some were supporters, while others remained wary of her. She engaged with each person individually. Zoe answered questions and addressed concerns patiently. This patience was a quality she hadn't known she possessed. Her calm approach helped to ease tensions and foster productive conversations.
Hey Zoe, that was amazing. Listen, I've been working on some new security measures. These measures might complement your system. Want to grab coffee and discuss?
Absolutely. I love to hear your ideas. Thank you for your support throughout all of this. I couldn't have done it alone.
Zoe left the town hall with her fellow hacker. She felt a weight lift from her shoulders. The road ahead was long. For the first time in months, she felt truly optimistic. This hope was not just for herself, but for all of Millbrook. The future looked brighter than ever before.
Harper, a word?
Of course, Detective Marks. What can I do for you?
The department is setting up a new cybersecurity division. We could use someone with your skills. Your unique perspective would be valuable. Are you interested in consulting for us?
Zoe blinked, momentarily stunned by the offer. She glanced at her hacker friend. Her friend gave an encouraging nod.
Yes, I'd be honored. Thank you for trusting me with this responsibility.
You've earned it, kid. Now, let's make sure Millbrook stays safe the right way this time.
Zoe shook hands with Detective Marks. She realized her journey had reached its conclusion. What began as a solitary search for truth had transformed. It became a team effort to protect and connect. In finding justice for Ellie, Zoe discovered her place in the world. She was no longer isolated behind a computer screen. Instead, she found herself at the center of a community. It was a community she had played a crucial role in healing. The story is over. Thank you for listening. Please leave a comment about the story. Share your thoughts with me. I will read all of your comments. I'll reply to each of you personally. See you next time.